I want to start off by saying I do feel like I'm jumping on here too soon. So you think I should get off. At the same time, I feel like it'll help me to talk it out. You know how they've directed me to go to the book of Revelations, probably more than anywhere else. And anytime they take me anywhere, but especially the Bible, it's like the exact story that I'm living, right? It's like the current lesson, or it's the current scenario. And so it's always like, you'd think by now I would know, but every time I look up and I'm like, holy shit, right? Because it's like, oh my God. Because how would I fucking even know to go to where they tell me to go in the Bible? Like, it's insane. And so nonetheless, many a times they've taken me to Revelations. Many times. And many times I've been like, am I the fucking devil? Is that it? Am I the fucking devil? Seriously. Because you're really upsetting me. I don't want to play the devil. Make me another character. Like, I don't want to do that job. I don't want to play that character. And yet they will then show me all the other characters. Like, if they will place me where I'm like, oh, okay, so I'm death. Oh, okay, so now I'm, whatever. So like, I'm like, okay, all right. Like, I can accept those more than I can accept being the devil. And it's just saying you're in your ego, right? Like, it's just saying, and so like that idea, that lower energy, the lowest energy, that looking to get, to take, that seeking outside oneself, thinking you must seek outside oneself to fill oneself. And it's just backwards. It's the never-ending cycle. It's the illusion. It's the trick. And so they were just showing, well, they were actually having an energy come through, and I was having a conversation with it. And how did we get to that point? I'm trying to think it without saying too much, because it was actually personal. And that's right. Thank you. They had me recalling a conversation within the conversation with the same person who I had the conversation with to that person about explaining why doing what they were doing is not okay for me, and I'm sensitive to it. It's like this idea of like, I need you to be cognizant of this. It's like, I'm not just being difficult, or I'm not whatever. I'm trying to give you understanding and to explain so that you can be more aware and considerate and understand that that's why it's a problem. I'm not just being difficult. Like, this is, please understand. And so then in explaining that scenario, they showed the first time I had got my ego smashed and cracked, it's like, and my heart broken, was my mother. And then it happened again. And so it was that idea of like, that ego, that devil, that defense, that defensiveness, that ward off, right? Your ego's just trying to protect your heart. Right? It's your ego's leading the show, protecting your heart, thinking your heart needs to be protected because the last thing it knew, your heart was smashed. So we won't let that happen again. So your devil will take charge and make sure your devil will protect that heart of yours. No problem. We know how this works around here. And so you go running on that paradigm until your heart has healed up and feels like it's safe enough to come out and that your ego can take a break. Well, this was a very long 40-year process for me. And so all healed up, come on out, and sure enough, what happens? My ego and my heart get smashed again. And so it was like in Revelations, like, handed over the power. Well, the devil grew even bigger, even stronger, even more powerful? Like, oh, fucking no, absolutely not. Now we know for certain you cannot trust these humans. This is insanity. No, don't you worry. Never again will we thaw out this barrier. Don't you worry. You're safe now, right? And so, but then you heal up again, you see things more clearly, and then you recognize, your part and what you need to do, and that idea of maturing, that idea of understanding, and it really is amazing how it's explained so many times in so many different ways throughout the Bible. But I guess that one, it resonates with me the most. I don't know why they always take me there, but it does. And I think because it is a mystery until it's not. It is until you unravel yourself, until you get to know yourself and have that relationship with yourself, your higher self, and unconditional love, until you really get to understand all those dynamics, because they're just words otherwise. That, I can't tell you how many times I've heard so many of the cliche things, and that's why I try to incorporate them all throughout this podcast, so that you might be like, oh shit, no, yeah, I have heard that 400 million times, but I thought it was just a saying, or we just said that, or I thought I understood it, or I thought I knew, right? Because we're not really taking the time to learn and get to know ourselves and understand all the layers. It's not just one meaning. It's not just one layer. It's not just 10 layers. It's not just 100 layers, right? You are deep, and you have depth and flavor and layers. And over the years, it continues to mature and develop you, where it's like a scent, that is just, it continues to blossom, and you can't rush that process, right? And if you're doing that kind of work, if you're loving yourself and continue to love yourself and continue to work on yourself and pour into yourself, it's not something that can be, mimicked or caught up, in the sense that it takes time. It's like the idea of marinating, right? Like, you can't rush it. It's just not going to be the same. And you can see and feel and understand the difference. It's like being with a 20-year-old man and a 50-year-old man. And if they're both mature for where they're at and they've always loved themselves, God damn, can you see the difference, right? It's night and day. But I'm making that point that as long as they've always loved themselves and poured into themselves, because there's many, many out there who have not. So you could take a 20-year-old who has always loved themselves, poured into themselves, honored their dreams, loved themselves to go after what it is they desire, and honored their goals, and put them next to a 50-year-old man who has always sought outside himself, had no idea who he is or what he wants or what he likes. And it's night and day again, right? And then you're dealing with what can be really tricky on the human eyes and ears. Like, wow, I'm talking to a 20-year-old who has the ability to stand erect in his truth, and I'm being deceived looking at a 50-year-old who I would think had the same ability, and yet he's flimsy, flopping all over the place, can't stand up straight at all because he doesn't know truth. He doesn't know himself. He doesn't know how to love himself. He doesn't know how to honor himself. He doesn't know right from wrong for him. He doesn't know. He doesn't know what he wants. He doesn't know what he likes. He doesn't know. And that's not to put anybody down based on your age. It's the idea that we're all maturing at different times and at different ages, but it's all based on the desire and the wanting to feel good in oneself, to love oneself, to be able to stand strong and straight and erect within oneself, to know one's truth. And you can feel it. It is an energy. And again, you hear that all the time, but somebody who is hearing that for the first time, or has heard it a million times but has never truly understood it, this is a little glimpse into it, but you really have to start pouring into yourself, because then when you start to recognize yourself and see yourself and be more self-aware and hold accountability for yourself and take ownership of where you fell short for yourself, you let yourself down, right? And you take ownership and apologize to yourself and make right with yourself. The more then you will be like, oh, this is what people mean, right? It's kind of like the idea of the more authentic you become. When you become a real boy, right? You're like, oh shit, they weren't just saying that. I really was a puppet on strings. I really was being pulled all around. I really was dictating my moves based on what people thought or believed or how they saw me, or if I was going to get love or validation, or all these illusions we have. Well, you have to cut those cords, snip those strings, fly in the face of them. And yes, you're going to stumble at first because you've actually never walked on your own. You've never thought on your own. You've always had somebody telling you which way to move. They smiled, you went this way. If they frowned, you went that way. You had no idea what you wanted. You never considered what you wanted. You never were capable of thinking on your own. And the more you do, the more it can be almost scary or challenging, because you're shocked by how much of a puppet you really were, how much of a robot you really were. There was so much that was implanted, and you were running on that paradigm. Good, bad, or indifferent, that's what you were doing. And you never loved yourself enough or cared enough to take a look and determine what was going on. And so, it's up to you. Thanks so much for tuning in and listening. You can now purchase an audio journey with me using the link below.